We've got a lot of items to present here that'll follow our agenda. Task order one, we'll go through them, and then there's also some new grants, very good grant opportunities that we'll talk about, spend a lot of time on after we go through the work that's been going on. The water quality master plan, we have the report completed. It's here, there are 2 copies that'll be on file. Proceeding with the RO system design, and we're getting the bid documents. They're just about there by December 2nd. We'll have those ready, and to go with the grant application that's due. That's part of the grant submission that's needed. So that's progressing very well. And one thing that we did complete since the last meeting was the survey. Land surveyors were out for the lot, and you're well forward with the RO system.
No way.
Oh,
It's been going in and out.
oh, is it? Okay, should I just talk loud? Okay. Okay, I will talk loud. Everyone hear me? Okay. So the survey was behind schedule, but we're caught up because we had to get an agreement with the property owner to secure the lot with Patsy and David and Mayor have been working on, in which we have basically a letter of intent to do that. So we're able to complete that survey, and so, but we'll be well on track for the December 2nd submission date. Okay. Next task order, also there's some recent developments there for the first priority was the water quality improvements of the RO system. The second priority was the fire line service, which we presented earlier. That also was surveyed, and we'll have the bid documents ready to go. That's about $130,000 worth of construction. We did have a meeting with the board, the local fire department, and there's going to be a follow-up meeting probably next Tuesday. Patsy's trying to set that up to figure out a plan to get that funded, and they're also willing to step up and help with some of the grant funding. So it would be a joint effort between the Town Mammoth Fire and the city, and the intent there was they would procure the funds and turn them over to the town to build those fire lines. So that was a very positive outcome on that project. So those are the 2 major project elements that are going on. Now that we have the site picked out for the RO system, moving on to the environmental assessment task force, we're working on that to get that completed and submitted to the Department of Housing as well. So now we can proceed on that one since we know which site we selected. So I feel very good about the progress here. We're headed towards getting into bidding and construction. Okay, number 5 on the grant, CDBG grant administration. We did get an approval letter, and Patsy has all these documents for the $224,000. So there was a few comments they had, but earlier this month they sent it says, congratulations, the ADOH CDBG RA application, you're approved. And I will go into agreement. Now, one thing on this, it is contingent on, we asked for 224, and then now we're going after another 300 here in this round. So they put a contingency in there and to get all the funding, but they will send a contract forward to get that initial piece. And that's the regional account. We will have another item for a resolution, which is one of the resolutions that they need for the special projects, which I'll talk about in a minute. So the 224 has been obtained to construct the RO to buy the unit, and then the balance of it we're going after with the December 2nd deadline. So right now, since there's immediate funds available, my plan is to get those in place, and then early next year for the rest of the projects after the RO, go after the USDA funding. So that's our game plan. Okay, the next funding. So I guess any questions on the water quality program or those activities? We made a lot of progress in the last month, and we'll continue to do so. We're going to make the submission on December 2nd. Left some documents with Patsy and Mayor that you need to sign, so we can submit that in, and I'll be back Tuesday to pick up those signed documents. That's, I think, 60 to 90 days is their decision date on that 300,000 for the special project, so, we're on track for that. We also, there was another $12,000 from WIFA Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, that we're filing the paperwork to get. Once that comes in, what we're gonna do is try to use a portion of that, bring it into the water quality project, take some of the money out of the water quality to buy the lot. Okay, so that was a bit of good news. Dave Garcia worked on that and pointed me in the right direction, to move forward with that. The other issue we've been working on is after the recent storms, the drainage issues up on Sunset and Hetzel. And we've been working with David and Patsy and put a report together. At this point, we're intending to submit to Pownell County. And if they approve this, they'll be coming back to the town awarding $250,000 that we'll seek for approval at the next meeting. So this also Patsy has on file, so we've been working on it the last few weeks. And there's basically three issues that we're trying to solve here. Is to prevent some of the flooding there, put a box culvert underneath Hetzel so it flows better, stabilize some of the channels. The other issue was downstream at Tiger and State Highway 77 to prevent that backup and overflowing, put in another box culvert. So those were the most critical, and we think we can do that for the $250,000 grant. So we'll know, there's a meeting on December 4th with the Pownell County engineer, and so we'll know on that. There's also some upstream issues along the channel before it hits the Hetzel. That's a more expensive fix. That's we're estimating at $400,000 to $500,000. So we're going to go after future grants for that, but also the other ones we've been working on for those are FEMA, and so we are intending to pursue FEMA once we get this in Pownell County. So quite a bit actually going on there with the drainage, and we should know either for the December or January meeting we'll come back with, they want an IGA or contract for that grant funding. So that's the 250 there, and the meeting is on the 4th.
I had a question on this.
Absolutely.
Okay, you said you have the 224,000 already.
Yes.
Okay, and then you said there was contingency. What did you mean?
There's another 300 that we're submitting on the 2nd for the special projects.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and so the 224 is there, and what the contingency will be if they don't fund the 300, we'll put in the fire line and then go to USDA.
So
for the
somewhere else
balance.
get it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the 224 is coming, and they understand the contingency is we have the fire line and the steel tanks, we'll do the other water. But right now, we're using that as the match to go after, so.
And then I had another question. On these grants, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought that when you apply for grants, that's how you guys are gonna get paid? Or is the town paying you separately right now?
No, all the design work in these are off of existing grants. For the application, we're applying for those grants on our own. This is the town, that's just part of our service.
Each grant has fees for engineering.
Each grant, once the grant gets awarded, there's fees for engineering.
Okay. So the money that was in here on the that you were paid, that was because, from this money here? From
No.
the grants?
No, that's for the grants, the first set of grants that we already got.
That's where
Okay,
you got
that's to prepare the bid documents. All these grants require that you have, it's kind of difficult, that you have the engineering done first, then you can bid them. So the first phase of grants was to do the engineering of steel tanks, the water, and those things. So we're being paid out of there. To submit the applications and all that, that's something, that's at our cost to help the town, and we're not charging for that.
Okay.
Because it's a tough, whether it's with, I mean, we found in other states, there's actually a small pot of money to do this planning work. So you can get the bigger pot of money, but in Arizona, there's really not. So you either need to get an interim loan to do that, or there's opportunities out here that part of our service is doing the grant funding.
So any grant that you get for us, your fees will be taken out of that grant?
Well, like this 250, I'll be urgent, the 250 that they allow, it's like 18% of the engineering costs. Okay, but some of the grants, they only are for construction, you gotta do the engineering up front to get the grant. That's the one, the 300,000 now is set up that way. To get the 300,000 to build the system, you have to have the engineering done upfront. So those are more difficult to do, but the 250 for the drainage, they'll fund design and construction. Okay.
I would like to clarify something real quick. The process for the grant funding is they do a portion of it in a month. They bring the paperwork to me and I okay it. We send it to ADOH. ADOH sends us a check. And then after we receive the check, we reimburse him. So it's not that we're paying him out of our pocket, it's grant monies that we've applied for.
So the first set of grants for this year, the CDBG grants are always set up that you have to have all the bid specs done up front and the engineering. Okay, once that's done, then you can get, and so that's how, this one with the county is different with Pinal County in that initially it was, you submit the drainage report and the issues, and you ask for funding and they review it. But that's all the planning work, that you don't need the full design plans and drawings up front, which is what